With almost 100 years of history, the Academy Awards are the biggest film awards in the world, having honored thousands of professionals in the film industry. Almost everyone who works in the field dreams of having their own golden statuette on their shelf, but not everyone succeeds. Over the course of so many ceremonies, 96, to be more specific, we have had several actors nominated for Best Actor and Best Supporting Actor awards, but most of them were never recognized by the Academy. Here, we list 10 great movie stars who never won an Oscar. Subscribe to the channel and like the video for more content like this. Take the opportunity to suggest the theme for the next video below in the comments. Bradley Cooper. Starting with a case that is fresh in the memory of many moviegoers, thanks to his recent defeat at the most recent edition of the Oscars, we can talk about Bradley Cooper, an American actor, director, and producer who slowly rose in the film industry, first making films of comedy and horror and then gaining prominence in acclaimed works. To date, Cooper has been nominated for the award 12 times, among them, 5 times in the acting categories, but has never taken home a single statuette. Among the films that earned him nominations in the Best Actor and Best Supporting Actor categories are Silver Linings Playbook, American Hustle, American Sniper, A Star is Born and Maestro. Clint Eastwood. Clint Eastwood is a living legend of cinema. At 93 years old, he continues to work actively in the film market, and is already directing his next project. A curious case in the industry, Eastwood has already won 4 statuettes, 2 for Best Film and 2 for Best Director, for his work on Unforgiven and Golden Girl. Interestingly, he was also nominated for a Best Actor Oscar for his work in both films, but never took home the award. Now, he is developing his latest film, which will be called Juror Number 2, and so far we don't know if he will participate in the cast, but it would be great to see the Academy recognizing his work not only as a director and producer. Edward Norton. Born in 1969, Edward Norton began acting at an early age, and soon became one of the most present figures in contemporary Hollywood. He's been in thrillers, comedies, superhero films, and even biographical dramas, but somehow, that was never enough for him to become an Oscar winner. Throughout his career, Norton has been nominated 3 times, twice for Best Supporting Actor, for Primal Fear and Birdman, and once for Best Actor, for American History X. He never won the award, but many believe he should have been awarded for the 1998 film about fall and redemption. Ethan Hawke. Hawke is a very curious case, since throughout his career, he has been in several very prestigious projects by the Academy. However, he himself never had the chance to hold a golden statuette. Known for the nuance of his characters, he has been nominated for Best Supporting Actor twice for Training Day and Boyhood. Both films managed to win some statuettes, but Hawke didn't win any. He was also nominated for Best Adapted Screenplay for his work on Before Sunset and Before Midnight, 2 projects developed in partnership with Richard Linklater and Julie Delpy that became huge critical successes. Ian McKellen. Although he is well known for his work in blockbuster sagas such as The Lord of the Rings and X-Men, Ian McKellen is an excellent British star. Currently 84 years old, he has participated in dozens of works, including films, TV series, games and even songs. However, the actor never won an Oscar. He's already come close, however, having been nominated once for Best Actor for his performance in Gods and Monsters, a film that tells the story of James Whale, the director of the classic Frankenstein. As early as 2002, he received a Best Supporting Actor nomination for his role as Gandalf in The Lord of the Rings, The Fellowship of the Ring. James McAvoy. Going from Magneto to Professor X, James McAvoy is a well-respected star. Born in Scotland, he began acting at the age of 16, and has been in major projects, such as The Chronicles of Narnia and X-Men, as well as having participated in a dozen critically acclaimed films, but even so, this was not enough to win him an Oscar. In fact, unlike every other actor on the list, James McAvoy has never even received an award nomination. At the time of Split's release, there was a strong campaign for the actor to receive a Best Actor nomination, but that didn't happen, thanks in part to the Academy's disdain for horror films. Lawrence Fishburne. Even if you don't recognize him by name, it's almost impossible that you've never seen a work by Lawrence Fishburne in your life. Born in Georgia, USA, the actor began his career at a young age, at the age of 11, when he was still credited as Larry Fishburne. From then on, he grew and worked with well-known directors. Having participated in classics such as The Matrix, Apocalypse Now and even The Color Purple, Fishburne was nominated once for the Oscar for Best Actor, for playing Ike Turner in Tina, What's Love Got to Do with It?, a 1993 film that also earned a nomination for Best Actress for Angela Bassett, in fact, another one wronged by the Academy. Ralph Fiennes. Although many know him for his role as Lord Voldemort in the Harry Potter film series, Ralph Fiennes is a renowned actor, who has participated in dozens of very influential and acclaimed projects. However, the English star never managed to score an Oscar win, even though he was nominated twice. In 1994, he competed for Best Supporting Actor for his role in Schindler's List, and in 1997 he competed for Best Actor for The English Patient. Despite having already won a Tony Award and a BAFTA, he has yet to win an award from the Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences. Samuel L. Jackson. Samuel L. Jackson is a curious case, which exposes the distorted criteria of the audiovisual industry. Born in 1948 in Washington, D.C., the actor has been in several different works, going through different genres and cinematographic styles and working alongside great filmmakers, such as Quentin Tarantino, Brad Bird and even George Lucas. In his entire career, which has spanned more than 150 films, he was nominated once in the Best Supporting Actor category for his work in Pulp Fiction, and was even one of the favorites to win. However, he ended up losing to Ed Wood's Martin Landau. Fortunately, the actor won an honorary Oscar in 2021. Tom Cruise. Finally, we couldn't help but mention one of the greatest action stars in the history of cinema. At 61 years old, Tom Cruise continues to do what he does best, providing audiences with great experiences on the silver screen, and, unfortunately, he has never been rewarded for it by the Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences. He has already been nominated for Best Actor for Born on the 4th of July and Jerry Maguire, as well as receiving a nomination for Best Supporting Actor for Magnolia. Unfortunately, it lost on all three occasions, and also lost the Best Picture award last year, after Top Gun: Maverick lost. Subscribe to the channel and like the video for more content like this. Take the opportunity to suggest the theme for the next video below in the comments. See you in the next video.